Hi friends, and welcome back to my yoga channel under the Avo tree. So it's been a while since I posted a video, so I thought we would get back to it with an easy flow for when you really don't feel like doing yoga. Because that's kind of how I've been feeling a bit lately. Wanting to do it, not really wanting to do it, and then just not doing it. So I thought a nice way to do it would be to do it super simple, super easy, like you can be in your PJs, have a nice cozy jumper on, and we'll take it nice and slowly. We'll build up a little bit throughout the class, but you can decide yourself how much effort you want to put in. So like maybe your intention from the very beginning is to put in 50% effort no matter what. You don't want to overdo it. You just are here almost just as like a token yoga class to get yourself back into it if you've been not doing it or not feeling like it. Or maybe you might then, as the class goes on, get called to put in a little bit more effort and might feel a bit more energized. So either way, this class would be great for you to get back into your yoga class or yoga practice even, but in a nice, gentle, easy way with no pressure or anything like that. So whenever you're ready, we're going to get started. We're going to start today in child's pose. So you can take a wide leg or narrow leg variation, whichever you prefer. So you can have the knees together or else the knees out as wide as the outside edges of the mat, big toes touching. So whichever way, with your arms stretched out in front, you can let the elbows come onto the mat. So we're in kind of a less active child's pose, and then just let the forehead rest down onto the mat. So we'll take a few moments here. Just feeling into the body. Trying to send the hips a little bit back towards the heels, not putting too much effort in. Feeling the hands, the shins, the tops of the feet pressing into the mat. Just taking a moment to set an intention for this practice. So maybe it is that you're just going to give 40% effort. You're just here to show up, to be on the mat. Maybe your intention is to go with the flow and see how you are called to take this practice. Maybe to put in more effort as it goes. Maybe even to hold back effort as it goes. So whatever you're feeling. Setting that intention now, taking a moment to hold it in your heart space. And we'll just take the attention into the breath. So just noticing the inhale and exhale. Not putting any effort into it. Noticing the rise and fall of the chest. Maybe notice the rise and fall of the back of the lungs, the back of the rib cage. Maybe feel the belly pressing against the thighs as it empties and fills. And then we'll start to deepen the breath, so filling it up into the space of the back body. And then emptying it out completely, maybe exhaling through the mouth. Do two more like that. Inhale to fill the space of the back body. Exhaling out the mouth. Inhaling last time, filling up. And exhaling, releasing it all the way down. Just letting the breath settle back to its natural pace. Feeling again the body pressing off the mat, maybe listening to any sounds you can hear. Just coming back into your space. Maybe starting to just take a small bit of movement, maybe rolling side to side, over the knees, over the shins, hips and rib cage coming side to side. Maybe coming up onto the fingertips, maybe seeing can you walk them a little bit further out ahead. Maybe putting them back down. And we're going to start to walk both hands all the way over to the right. Well, not all the way. over to the right about 2 o'clock. You can maybe take the left hand on top of the right, deepening the stretch into the left side body. And then letting the head just rest down again. Trying to relax the shoulders here. One more round of breath. We'll walk the hands back through center and over to about 10 o'clock. Taking the left hand on top of the right hand on top of the left. Letting the head rest towards the mat. It might not reach the mat, so just letting it hang relaxed. Not holding tension in the neck. And feeling the breath expanding the right side of the body. We walk our hands back to center. We're just going to start to move forward and back from our child's pose. So just lifting the chest forward, coming to your tabletop. Maybe you'll walk the knees out to hip distance and then just sending the hips back again towards the heels. So we'll inhale just to move forward really slowly. And then exhale, sending the hips back to the heels. Inhale, moving forward. Slow as you can, and exhale, moving back. One more time, inhaling forward. Last time, exhaling the hips back. And looking forward, coming into our tabletop, just checking you're set up really nicely with the shoulders over the wrists, the knees over under the hips, tops of the feet pressing into the mat. Let's do a few rounds of cat-cow here. So inhale to drop the belly down, chest shines forward, gaze goes up to the ceiling. And exhale, tucking in the tailbone, rounding through the spine, pushing into the hands to push the shoulder blades up to the ceiling. Gazing back towards the thighs. Inhale, dropping the belly down, chest coming forward, gaze coming up. And exhale, rounding the spine, drawing that belly button in, really pressing the hands into the mat, pressing knees and shins in. We'll just do a few rounds, so taking your time, matching your movement with your breath to round the spine and drop the belly down. Maybe you want to take this time to also take any other movement, maybe swaying the hips, maybe moving back and forth again like we just did, but using the cat-cow motion to come through it, rounding the spine as you send the hips back to the heels. And then as you come forward, dropping the belly down, tailbone points to the ceiling. So just do 2 more rounds, whichever way you feel. Last time, round the spine. We'll come back then to a neutral spine. Now lift the right hand up to the ceiling, opening up the chest, and then setting that right hand between the space of the left hand and left knee, right shoulder coming onto the mat. So right hand comes out in line with the shoulder, and then walking, you can leave the left hand where it is, or walking it out, straightening the arm. And if you find that your shoulder doesn't reach, my hair is everywhere, reach the mat, you can get a cushion if you have it handy, or a block placing underneath the shoulder. 2 more breaths here. And walking that left hand back towards the face, pressing into it to open up, lifting that right hand up again to the ceiling, and then coming back to your tabletop. So we'll do opposite side, inhaling, lifting the left hand up, and then exhaling, left hand between that right hand and leg, shoulder coming onto the mat. Again, right hand can stay where it is, or walking it out in front. Breathing here. Trying to even out the hips, maybe sending the left hip up towards the ceiling a little bit more, so you're not twisting into the hips or pushing them over to the right. One more inhale. One more exhale. Walking that right hand back towards you, pressing that hand into the mat, open the left hand up to the ceiling once again, and coming back to our tabletop. We'll just tuck our toes under here. Send the hips back towards the heels and then up towards the ceiling, coming into downward facing dog. You can take some movement here, pedaling out the legs, bending one knee, straightening the other. Maybe swaying the hips side to side. Whatever movement you feel like you need. And after a few moments of pedaling the legs or taking whatever movement, then coming to stillness, reaching the heels down to the mat. And no worries if they're not touching the mat, just imagine a little line between your heels shooting down towards the mat. Gazing towards the thighs. We're going to lift the right leg up to the ceiling and taking the right knee forward towards the face and then stepping the right foot onto the mat in front or between the hands, lowering the back knee down. So we're just coming into our lunge here. We're going to keep it nice and simple, hands resting on that front knee. Just drawing in the belly button a little bit, relaxing the shoulders, torso nice and strong and proud, looking forward. And if you're like me, you're actually getting a bit warm. I'm going to take off my jumper. Staying here, breathing, just checking the front knee is not passing out the ankle. So you just walk out the foot a little bit or back in a little bit if you need to just rearrange to get that knee stacked over ankle. One more inhale. One more exhale. So the left hand is going to stay on that right knee and you're going to open the right hand around to the side. So we're deepening out into the stretch in the front of the left hip. Breathing here, feeling the twist through the spine. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly working that right hand back to the front. Now the hands come down to frame that foot. We'll lift the back knee and stepping back to your downward facing dog. We'll just do a breath or two here. And you can choose yourself whether you want a bit of movement or if you want to stay in stillness. You're going to lift the left leg up to the ceiling, bringing that knee to your nose and stepping the foot between the hands. Right knee comes down onto the mat and tucking the toes, top of the back foot on the mat and just lifting the hands onto that knee. Sinking a little bit forward, but just checking you're drawing in the belly button. You're not pushing out through the chest and the belly, letting it, the sinking coming from the hips. We'll do one more inhale, one more exhale. Now keeping the right hand on the left knee, left hand comes around until it's pointing towards the back or as close as you can get it. So you don't want to overexert here through the shoulders, putting any unnecessary tension or pressure on them. So if it means maybe your hand is pointing down to about, I don't know, what's that? Trying to think of the face of a clock. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rather than 6 o'clock. One more inhale. Exhale, coming back around, releasing the hands to frame the foot, lifting that back knee so you can step back to your downward facing dog. Just do 2 rounds of breath here, nice and slow. We're going to shift forward into a plank. So shoulders are in line with the hips. Drawing the belly button in and then releasing the knees. Releasing the belly, the chest all the way down. Keeping the hands either side of the rib cage, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Just going to inhale to lift into a baby cobra. And exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lifting the chest. And exhale, lowering. Just checking all 10 toes are connected to the mat. Inhale, lifting the chest. And exhale, lowering. Tucking the toes under, pushing yourself back, and coming again to your downward facing dog. 2 breaths here, nice and slow. And lifting the right leg up to the ceiling. Right knee comes to the nose, stepping the foot through, left knee comes onto the mat. And again, taking the hands onto the knee. If you feel like now you're kind of getting into it, maybe you want to take the arms up, reaching them up to the ceiling, palms facing each other. Just bringing a bit more energy into the pose. It's also great to stay here, sinking a little bit deeper into the hips, shoulders stacked over them, feeling that stretch in the front of the left hip. One more inhale, one more exhale. Take the hands down to frame that foot. We're sending the hips back, straightening out that front leg. So upper body folding over that front leg. I'm going to inhale to look forward, trying to lengthen the spine, and then exhale, folding down, head towards the ground. Inhale, lifting the chest, looking forward. Feeling as if you're sending the hips back as your chest and heart shine forward. And exhale, folding down. We'll do 2 more. Inhaling, lifting. Exhale, folding. Last time, inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Lift back up, walking the hands forward to frame the foot, stepping back to your downward facing dog. Maybe coming on the tippy toes to bend the knees, tilt the hips up to the ceiling, really lengthening the spine, reaching the heels back down to the mat. And lifting the left knee up, or left leg up, bringing the knee to the nose, stepping the foot through, right leg comes onto the mat, lifting the hands onto the knee, and if last time you lifted up the fingers, doing that again. So whichever one you're feeling. If you're feeling like you want to take it a bit more restful or a bit more energetic, you can choose. And then releasing the hands to frame the foot again, sending the hips back towards the heels, or the heel. Inhale to look forward, and exhale to fold. So the left leg is straight, toes are pointing towards the foot. See, can you get that baby toe pointing towards the face? Did I say toes are pointing towards the foot? I meant face. Inhale, lifting the chest, looking forward. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, lifting the chest, trying to lengthen the spine. Exhale, folding. One more time, inhaling, looking up. Exhale, folding down. Lifting the chest, walking the hands forward, lifting the back knee and stepping back into your downward facing dog. Shifting forward into your plank, so shoulders over wrists, belly button drawn in, reaching back through the heels. And then lowering knees, belly, chest, coming all the way onto the mat. I'm going to take the hands now outside of the mat. So in line with the shoulders, but outside of the mat, tops of the feet pressing in. We're lifting the chest into a wide arm cobra. And exhale, leading the chest forward as we lower down. Inhale, lifting up the chest. And exhale, lowering. Inhale, lifting up. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. So we're feeling all 10 toes glued onto the mat. Maybe taking a little look over the left shoulder. Maybe taking a little look over the right shoulder. Maybe moving the elbows, going back and forth as you do this. And then we'll lower all the way back onto the mat. Hands press into the mat, sending the hips back to the ceiling. Once again, coming into downward facing dog. We'll take 2 nice long deep breaths here. And then lifting the right leg up, stepping it forward between the hands. This time we're going to keep the back knee lifted. And then lifting up into your high lunge. So again, you can decide hands either resting on the thigh in front or lifting them up. Either way, trying to relax the shoulders. We'll take 2 more breaths here, inhaling. I never said to exhale, but I think you know what to do. We're going to plant the back foot down onto the mat, opening up into our warrior 2. The back foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. Front knee is pointing or is bent, lifting the fingertips up in line with the shoulders, gazing over that front hand. I'll just turn around so you can see. So the hips are open to the long edge of the mat. Try to relax the shoulders down. And again, you can decide how much effort you're putting into this. Maybe you're really gotten into it now, you're feeling like, yeah, I'm good to go. can stay here for as long as you like. Or maybe you think, oh, I'll just pull back the knee a little bit. Maybe I'll rest the hands on the hips. So whichever way you want to work it. You're going to bend the right arm, bringing the forearm onto the thigh, lifting the left hand up, coming into extended side angle. You can leave the left hand reaching up here. You're going to peel back that left shoulder, chest open to the side. Or else taking the fingers of the left hand to point towards the top of the mat. Just do one more inhale. Exhale, look down to the mat, hands frame that front foot, stepping back to your downward facing dog. We'll take 2 nice full breaths here. My mat just loves to move around. I think it's the carpet and mat combo maybe. Then one more inhale, one more exhale. We'll lift the left leg up, shooting that knee forward so the foot can plant between the hands, lifting up into our high lunge, so back knee lifted. And you can keep the back knee bent a little bit at first, just to sink lower into the hips, trying to get the thigh parallel to the mat. And maybe reaching back through the back heel to straighten that back leg. And again, you have the option to reach the fingertips up if you're starting to feel a bit more energized. One more inhale. Exhale, planting that back heel onto the mat, so the back foot parallel to the back edge, lifting fingertips up into your warrior 2. Bench into the front knee, so front knee is stacked above the ankle. Breathing here, we'll just do 2 breaths. Gazing over that front hand. Again, option to take the hands onto the hips. Next exhale, we're letting the left forearm come onto the left thigh, reaching right hand up to the ceiling. Breathing here. And if you've kept your arm here the last time, staying there, and if you pointed the fingers forward last time, pointing the fingers forward. So you want to do the same both sides. One more inhale. Exhale, looking down to the foot. Hands framing it, stepping back to your downward facing dog. And then lowering the knees. Send the hips back to the heels, hands reaching out in front. Letting the forward rest down. You can bring the elbows as well onto the mat. Coming into child's pose. Letting the breath settle. Letting the breath become even. And then getting ready to move in a moment. Starting to walk the hands towards the body. Coming up to kneeling. I'm going to send the hips to one side, legs coming out in front. I'm going to take the soles of the feet together. So you can take the hands onto the ankles, hands onto the shins, hands around the toes, wherever you like. We're just keeping the chest nice and tall, so shoulders stacked over hips. We're inhaling here. And exhale, leading with the chest, drawing it forward. So if someone's pulling a cord from the chest, leading you forward, elbows can come onto the knees, helping to push them down, deepening the stretch into the groins. And then relaxing the head down, relaxing the shoulders, just a gentle rounding of the spine. Looking down to the feet. Maybe giving the feet a little massage while you're resting here in cobbler pose. One more inhale. Exhale to bring ourselves back up. Bring the knees together. Just take the hands behind you, dropping the knees side to side. And then coming back to the center, extending the leg out in front. We're going to reach the fingertips up to the ceiling. If you want, you can take a little bend in the knees here. Inhaling to reach up. And exhaling, leading with the chest and the hands pulling you forward. Letting the hands come to wherever they reach. So whether it's the feet, maybe it's the shins. So resting here, letting the chest, the head relax down towards the knees. And the toes are pointing towards the face. Keeping the legs a little bit active. Getting stretched all throughout the entire back of the body, the back of the legs, back of the torso, the back of the neck as you let the head hang down. One more inhale here. We'll exhale, coming back up. We're going to step the left leg in, and we're going to leave it here. We're not going to step it over the right leg. Right arm is wrapping around left leg. Left hand comes behind you. We'll inhale, growing nice and tall, and that leg is really squeezed into the belly. And exhale, twisting to the left. So peeling back that left shoulder, looking over it. That right leg is a bit active, so you're reaching through the heel, toes pointing back towards the face. Do 2 more breaths here. One more inhale. Exhale, unwinding, coming back to face the front, releasing the left leg, bending in the right leg. Stepping it close to the body again, keeping it here, not stepping it over the left leg. Left arm wraps around it, right hand comes behind you. Trying to get that belly onto the thigh, so you're trying to straighten up through the spine. Inhale to grow nice and tall. Exhale, twisting to the right. Keeping that leg squeezed in towards the torso. Maybe taking the gaze over that right shoulder. One more inhale. One more exhale. We're going to do one more because I feel like we didn't stay here for very long. One more inhale. And then exhale, releasing, turning back to the front, legs extend out, just giving the knees a little bounce. You can scooch up towards the top of the mat, so the toes are at the top, and just relaxing the back onto the mat. When the shoulders touch the ground, bring the knees into the chest, holding onto thumb with the hands, maybe rolling side to side. Try to get the lower back, the tailbone onto the mat. So you have a nice neutral spine here. Now coming to center, we're just going to let the knees fall out to the sides. So you can have a hand on each knee. Just letting the knees fall out to the sides, again deepening into the hips. If you want to give them a little move here, maybe a little circling. And then letting them sink down towards the ground, towards the armpits. We'll push the knees back together. Just let the feet come onto the mat. We're going to send the hips an inch over to the left, dropping the knees all the way over to the right. Oh, I have barely enough space here. And extending the arms out long. So either the hands out long with the arms out long with the hands in line with the shoulders, or you can bend the elbows so the fingertips point back if you're a bit short on space. Just breathing here, feeling that lovely twist throughout the spine. Making sure that left shoulder is on the ground. So if you feel like the left shoulder is lifting up, maybe lifting the knees up a bit off the ground. You can stick a pillow or two underneath the knees to support them. One more inhale. Exhale back to center. Shifting the hips an inch over to the right. Knees come all the way over to the left. Using the opposite direction of the knees. Again, if you need to support the knees with a couple of cushions, go for it. It's really nice to do. Feeling the body, just releasing any tension. Letting the body sink and be heavy. And then we'll come back to center on your next exhale. If you want to squeeze in the knees one last time before extending the legs, coming into corpse pose. And if you need some socks or a jumper or a blanket, whatever, to keep you nice and cozy as you lie here, go grab it now. And then you can extend the legs, letting the arms come out by the sides, palms facing up to the ceiling. And just closing down the eyes here. Letting the body sink into the ground. Feel the weight of the body pressing off of the mat. Tuning into those contact points between you and the ground. The back of the head, back of the shoulders, the bum, elbows, the back of the hands, the back of the calves, the back of the heels. Just feeling everything melt down around them. Letting your body release here for a few moments. Nothing else to do. There's nowhere else to be. And gently taking the attention back into the body, feeling the contact points once again between you and the ground. Maybe feeling the weight of a blanket if you have it, or the air of the room on your skin. Listening to the sounds around you. Visualizing the space that you're sitting or lying in. And gently taking some movement into the body, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, circling the wrists and the ankles. Maybe bending the knees, taking the movements a little bit bigger and bigger. Maybe reaching the arms overhead, taking a great big inhale here. And then empty out the exhale through the mouth as you release the body to ground. Bending the knees into the chest now. Just rolling over to your right side. You take a little pillow with the hands. And then pressing the hands into the mat to bring you back up to seated, and just trying to keep the eyes either closed down or a very gentle gaze at the ground. Just sitting nice and tall, stacking the shoulders over the hips, hands resting on the thighs. Just noticing the breath one last time. How it inhales and exhales without any effort from you. And taking your hands to prayer, resting them in front of your heart center. Thanking yourself for showing up here for this practice. Thanking your body for the movement that it allows you to do. Bowing your head to your heart. Bring your head and heart to your body. Bowing down to the earth. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Hope you enjoyed the class. Hope it was just what you needed to get back into your practice. Nice, easy, gentle flow to just get into the rhythm of it. And we'll have more videos coming really soon. Thanks so much. See you again.